Germany was able to use captured enemy merchant ships along much of this coastline almost with impunity. U-boat shelters were now being built in Norwegian and French ports, giving this deadly branch of the Kriegsmarine improved access to Arctic waters, the North Sea and the Atlantic. Together with the Royal Navy and the Fleet Air Arm, Coastal Command shared responsibility for asserting Allied control over these seas. Coastal Command was also faced with another threat from Hitler's new secret weapon, the magnetic sea mine.
You navigated entirely by astro. You took star shots or moon shots or sun shots. Sometimes you used a marine sextant. Of course, everything was mathematical. We had to work it out mathematically, you see, and so it was important to know how high you were.
The period the U-boat commanders called the happy time was over. In 1942, two important branches of Coastal Command were expanded. One was the Photographic Reconnaissance Unit, which had consisted of high-level unarmed Spitfires. To these were added Mosquitoes, increasing the range of PRU activities.
Within days of the start of World War II, the Junkers Ju-87 had become the most notorious weapon in the German army. It dropped the very first bombs of the conflict, and as the key component of Hitler's Blitzkrieg, it was acclaimed by the Nazis as the ultimate instrument of victory. Meanwhile, Junkers had produced a more powerful version of the UMO engine. Designated as the 211, it was rated at 1,100 horsepower on takeoff. In 1938, it was installed in a new variant of the Stuka, the vastly improved Ju-87B. Unhindered by enemy fighters, the Stuka Geschwaders wrought havoc amongst the Polish ground forces. Unopposed from the air, the German tank divisions were able to move swiftly, while paratroop units were deployed to capture key installations. Wave after wave of Ju-87s were sent across the Channel to attack a large convoy at Dover. They were assisted by German E-boats and sank 8 ships out of the total of 21. When the Focke-Wulf 190 made its maiden flight in June 1939, it was undoubtedly the most advanced combat aeroplane in the world. Heavy firepower and a staggering level of performance gave this small radial-engined machine the potential to outclass every contemporary Allied fighter. The Focke-Wulf Aircraft Company officially came into being in January 1924, when aviation pioneers Heinrich Fokker and George Wolf teamed up with a well-known Bremen businessman, Werner Neumann. Wolf had joined the German Flying Corps nearly 10 years earlier, and by the end of the First World War, he was an experienced pilot. With Fokker as the company's technical director and Neumann as its commercial director, Wolf was made responsible for all aspects of flying and testing. When the prototype made its maiden voyage at Langenhagen in May 1944, It was an instant success. With a top speed of 685 kilometers per hour, it was faster than all other 190s at any height. It had a better rate of climb, greater acceleration, and a significantly higher service ceiling. In an emergency situation, the MW50 water methanol injection system could boost power output by almost 30%. Overall, the new variant was a vast improvement over its predecessors. Before long, operational pilots were hailing the 190D as the best piston engine fighter ever to enter service with the Luftwaffe. German engineers worked their way around its drawbacks and achieved a compromise where extra power overcame the problems of aerodynamics. When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they did so intending to smash in one single blow America's resolution and its inability to retaliate. They failed miserably on both counts. The Japanese sank or badly damaged 7 antiquated American battleships, but since they were lost in the harbor, many of their crews were saved, and all but 2 of the ships were salvaged. Shortly after 0900 hours, both sides' aircraft were launched and the Battle of Coral Sea commenced. The 4th of June, and the United States fleet's main threat, the Japanese carrier striking force, under Admiral Nagumo, was zigzagging through dense fog, completely oblivious of Fletcher's fleet. On the 24th of November 1944, no less than 111 B-29s attacked an aero-engine factory on the outskirts of Tokyo. This marked the beginning of the strategic air offensive against Japan. On the 6th of August 1945, a B-29 called Enola Gay took off from Tilla, its target, the city of Hiroshima.
France, August 1914. A platoon of German infantry patrolling the Longwy are pinned down under fire. Their commander, a young lieutenant, takes 3 men and moves forward to scout the area. In a village clearing, he comes across 15 or 20 of the enemy. Choosing surprise, he opens fire, scattering the group. His platoon follows up, and in a swift action, they clear the village. For the young officer, it is his first taste of combat. It is just 3 weeks since the start of the First World War. In 1937, Rommel's book, Infanterie greift an, is published. Amongst its many readers is the Führer. Hitler at this time is poised to realize his vision of Lebensraum. Impressed by the book, he gives Rommel a temporary appointment as commandant at his headquarters. German troops cross the Czech frontier. Rommel is placed in charge of the battalion responsible for Hitler's personal safety during the annexation of the Sudetenland. German panzer divisions pour over the border. There is fierce resistance, but the German forces move forward, sweeping away all in their path.
At the beginning of World War II, the battleship, with its heavy naval guns, ruled the waves. The coming of the aircraft carrier changed that. In a series of conflicts stretching from the Mediterranean to the Pacific, aircraft launched from carriers proved themselves the new masters of naval warfare. But the finest hour for the old but sturdy Swordfish was to come in May 1941, with the chase of Germany's pride, the mighty Bismarck. As dawn broke on Sunday the 7th of December 1941, two waves of Nakajima Cape torpedo bombers and Mitsubishi Zero fighters. That night, more bad luck befell the Japanese when planes returning from a scouting mission mistook the Yorktown for one of their own carriers. Coral Sea was hardly over